guys. It's going to be a good day. Hey, before we get really deep into some things, because I want to talk about some things I believe are very, very important. Look, I know this is repetitive, but look, the mother of memory is repetition. So look, let's look at this. A commitment to define your beliefs and where you're heading. What are your intentions? Number two, if there are patterns, habits, rituals, routines that are not serving you, take a step back and reevaluate. Every single day, especially over the last several weeks, I look back and I reevaluate. And I'm looking at the scope of the entire organization, from California to Utah, Utah to California. I'm looking at every entity that we own as an organization. I'm looking closely, listening to my leaders, reevaluating everything that's going on. And then I take a further step back and say, okay, now what might be a better strategy? How do we approach these things to ensure the fact that there is not only a future for not only the organization of Everest and its entities, and what is that? Look, we're not a real estate holdings company. We are a real estate sales company. So look, the company is the people that are within it. And I have to tell you, I thought people knew that when I would say the company, but what I realized, people are thinking, oh wait, that's just about you. No, this isn't about me. Everest today is so much bigger than me. There is such a movement within it. There is so much passion in it. There is so much energy within it. There is so much desire, dreams, goals, achievement within it that, yes, I'm part of it, but no more different than if you're part of it. Because in the essence of it, all of it is just simply people, individuals, families. Hence, I deeply believe that it is the Everest family. Now look, there's changes, modifications to that strategy that we have. And you and I both know that that's the same thing that you need to do with your own business. There is patterns, habits, rituals, routines that you've had, from your exercise to your sleep, to coming into the office, not getting into the office. Everything has changed essentially. So the question for you then is this: what's your new strategy? How are you going to approach it? As you evaluate, define a new strategy, then we go from that strategy to really thinking clearly and say, okay, what are we deciding upon? What's our decision? What are we going to do next? And then we get decisive and we get really, really dialed in. And then we move from that to executing. That's the same thing that you need to do. So let's not get caught up in, well, wait a second, the strategy changed. Wait a second, the path changed. Guys, your whole life is changing right now, the way in which you're doing things. So let's not underestimate the magnitude of what we're doing together. All right, so with that, look, I've got up here, let me grab a marker. I just want you to look at this and look at some of the musts of your life. If you look at this, one, you need to make sure you're getting plenty of sleep. You need to make sure you're putting plenty of hydration and water. You need to breathe. So, right, just simply breathing. You could do that through meditation, but look, just some nice deep breaths every single day. Nutrition, exercise, meditation, reading, watching, listening, journaling, participation in your coaching. Hopefully you're being coached. And number two, the Everest meetings like the one you're participating in today. So good job for being here. So look, these are the ways to protect your mind, to elevate it, protect your heart, protect yourself, protect your family, protect your business, protect your clientele. This is how you do it. So let's not underestimate the magnitude of the activities that we can take control of. Guys, I just want you to have some level of certainty, because this is what we don't know. We don't know when the virus is going to end. So how will you find the certainty in the day? How will you find the certainty in the moments? How will you find the moments when you know that you need to stand guard at your fortress of your home and your family and your business, your transactions, your clientele? How will you do that? You have to come from a place of certainty. So what can you be certain of? You can be certain that you can get rest, certain that you drink at least half the ounce, or take your pounds, how much you weigh, divide it in half, turn it into ounces. You know that that's what you should be drinking at a minimum in regards to water. You know, here's the answers to the test. You can control every one of these things on this board. So the question is, are you? Because if you don't participate, if you don't listen to the right things, if you don't journal, well, then you put yourself at risk to being just blown around by the winds of change, the challenges at the moment, the things that are going on. And the reality is that there's things that are so damaging to our psyche, to our heart and our soul, that we have got to protect the fortresses of our mind, our heart. We have got to make sure that we are a beacon of hope and light to others on a daily basis. Look, let's point out the obvious. Wash your hands more. Let's point out the obvious. We can take a step back and reevaluate. Look around. Assess. See if this is the directions that we want our life to be lived. Maybe we do get the beauty of spending more time with those we love because of the social distancing. The obvious. If you're not feeling well, stay home. The obvious, right? The obvious. Have respect for yourself, for your family, and for those that you associate with. That's obvious. So look, how then are you going to move through these things? From Zoom calls, Zoom listings, Zoom buyers, Zoom, some video-like type of conferencing. What are you going to use to elevate your ability to connect to your people, which is what we're going to talk about here in just 1 second. All right, so I hope that you've taken a screenshot of this, because, gang, this is the answers to the test. Stay in a place of gratitude. Lead like you've never led. Be stronger than you ever have, because you can. Not going to ignore the difficulties. I get it. But you have a choice to focus on all of the challenges, the difficulties, or you can focus on the solutions. Here's some of the solutions to getting your mind right, your heart right, so you can lead in a powerful and compelling way. All right, so I'm going to erase this right now, and then we're going to switch gears here really quick. So I truly believe that the most important asset, aside from yourself, right? You are your most important asset. You're the one who produces. You're the one who brings income, brings leadership. So I always say, are you a depreciating asset, or are you increasing as an asset, right? Are you a liability, or are you a liability or an asset? Is another way to say it. Right, look, as you move through your career, you have got to look for better ways to do business all the time. If you aren't following my social media, I've got so many great examples of successful things happening just in my story of Instagram and Facebook. And there's so many examples of so many great things happening. As a reminder, tomorrow, we've got Matt Salter, and he's going to sit down with us. We're going to share some things with him. On Friday, I've got Tina Hare. He's going to zoom in, and we're going to do some things with her. We've got some extraordinary things coming online here. So look, how are you going to use the tools, the strategies, and the ideas? Well, here's how you use them. You have to act. You have to do things to make it work. So let's talk about a few of these things. Here's the first thing. In Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he talks about 4 quadrants. He talks about the employee quadrant. He talks about the self-employed quadrant. He talks about the business owner quadrant. And he talks about the investor quadrant. Now, I don't know if that's the order of it, but I want you to think about a few things. First and foremost is you're not an employee. As an agent, you are not an employee. Number 2, you are self-employed. Some of you say, well, I've got a business. Well, if you've leveraged your time and your energies, maybe. As a business owner, that means, yes, you might have a team and you're trying to move it to a business model. I get that. But for many of the agents listening today, you are self-employed. Well, look, here's the deal. This group of people is looking for, or this group of people right here, the employee, the self-employed, is often operating from a place of security. This group right here is working from a place of freedom, business, and investment. So I want you to think about this for a moment. Where do you sit in these quadrants? And how do you build businesses as a self-employed person? How do you do that? Well, I deeply believe that your sphere of influence is one of the ways to do that. Your center of influence, your database, your past clients. Some of you call it by different names. But I want to remind you that there could be not a bigger investment or a better investment that you could build than your sphere. Look, we can talk about real estate and buying it, but then nothing's going to pay you more cash over the years than developing the asset of your sphere of influence. Don't underestimate the magnitude of that. And with that, I want to just share with you a few thoughts, and knowing that you're going to build a stronger business when it comes to your sphere. If I was to challenge you to make sure that you have 300 plus people in your SOI, that would be the minimum amount of people that should be in there. You need to develop that, build that. If you meet people, you add them into it that you feel a connection to. And I believe that if you do a certain number of things, that you can get a 10 to 15% rate of return on an ROI, return on investment, right? A rate of return, a return on your investment of at least 10 to 15%, meaning that if you do certain things consistently, you're going to generate at least 30 to 45 transactions per year if you have 300 people in this. I want to promise you that those who are doing good things right now, so much of it is coming from their sphere. So how are you moving through your sphere? What are you doing to work through your sphere? How are you managing through your sphere? Because if you aren't working your sphere right now, that is a big, big problem, because it is one of your greatest assets that you will ever have. And this is the time to stand up and show your leadership. Stand up and show what is possible. So when we talk about skill sets, let's first and foremost talk about number one. And that is that you're supposed to call them. Call them. And right now, I'm telling you, minimum call is a monthly call. Now look, within that call, I'm going to suggest one other thing over here. Within that call, I would love it if you did a video chat, or if you did just a video that was 1 to 3 minutes long, speaking directly to your client. I'm going to encourage you, do anything you can to FaceTime, to Skype, to Zoom, to whatever it is, or if you can't get a hold of them, you just do a short 1 to 3 minute video of appreciation and gratitude of what can I do to help you? How can I help you in today's market? And if it's not in real estate, how else can I help you? Because look, we are a group of people that serve, love, and bless the lives of others. So look, call them at a minimum of a monthly basis. And I want to point this out here. If there's 300 people, that means you need to call. I'm just going to put this over here. 5+ a day. And if you look at the fact that there are 20 work days in a given year, or given month, on average, 20 work days, you call 5 a day, right? That's going to be 100. So that should be absolutely your minimum in normal markets. But because I want you to now call every one of them monthly, not quarterly, which I normally put up here, minimum quarterly call. No, right now it's monthly. So that means we need to put a 1 in front of that 5. You need to call 15 a day so that every single month they've heard from you, either by your voice, by a voice to voice, by a video chat, a video that you've done. At a minimum, every single person in your sphere needs to be contacted every single month. And if you have 300, that means 15 per day, and you'll nail the number. And it'll work. It'll all work if you do that. Okay? So, number 2, I want to make sure that you're mailing them. And for me, at a minimum, that needs to be a quarterly deal. Quarterly. Number 3, you need to make sure that you are emailing. Boy, this is time to get your campaign set up. And that should be happening at a minimum on monthly basis. Okay? So as you move through your calling, your mailing, your emailing, guys, you can do this. This is just you being consistent. This is you just doing your job. This is just you doing what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? And then number 4, after we call them, we mail them, we email them. Now, we can't necessarily see them, but how can you get what I call client appreciation? How are you going to do that? Right? Usually, like, rent the video, or rent the movie theaters, do other things. Guys, you can do something. Figure out something, a way to give appreciation to your clients. And then the 5th, some other ideas, right, is that you can text. You can use things like Slide Dial. You can use Call Fire. And these are ways in which call, fire, slide dial, and texting that you can have contact to your people in massive group ways. Slide dial means that you don't even have to talk to them, but you can leave them a message. Now look, in the midst of all of this, I'm going to challenge you to make sure that this is what you're doing. Because in the end, you're going to do a 30 to 45 type of transaction count if you have at least 300 people in there. If you're calling them, videoing them, mailing them, emailing them, appreciating them in some level of client appreciation. And 5, texting, slide dial, call fire. And then last but not least, maybe a little bit of a bonus over here, and that is some level of social media. And I've always said this, somewhere in between a 1 to 3 ratio. 3 things about your family, 3 things about who you are, and 1 thing regarding real estate. Let them know you're in real estate. There should be no guessing that you're in real estate. There should be no surprise that you're in real estate. That should never be a surprise to anybody. Okay? All right, guys. So look, this is what I want you to commit to. This is what I want to make sure that you're doing. This is what I want to make sure that happens for you. Because I can promise you that if you can take hold of doing what needs to be done in regards to this business, which is communicating with people. We are in the communication business. You've got to communicate. So look, if you don't have the mailings up, talk to your manager and figure out how to do that. If you don't know how to do the emailings, talk to a manager and let's get that figured out. I've got Russ Orchard here. There's numerous managers that know how to do that to help you use already the systems that are provided with you within the Century 21 system. Let's make sure we're using those. Let's make sure we're texting. We're talking to our people. Slide. What if you slide dial just a message to your whole entire sphere every single week, aside from calling them? Guys, over communicate right now. Over communicate. That means talking to people a lot. That means guiding the message, directing the message a lot. Because if you don't do that, there's a guarantee of this. No homes for you will be sold. And so much of this, like I said yesterday, gang, is about you making sure you are priming the pump. Priming the pump. Like I said yesterday, my grandfather, who watched me pulling on the lawnmower, the Briggs & Stratton lawnmower, and he came over finally after a few chuckles and a smile on his face. He pumped the little Briggs & Stratton thing, and all of a sudden, 1 pull, boom, it started. So what are you doing to prime the pump? Because we're going to get through this. Look, there's speculation. I mean, to all the mothers and the family like who have their children at home. I mean, I think there was like just all this joy knowing that school supposedly is starting on May 1st again in Utah. I have to tell you, I'm not that optimistic of that. I think it's going to be longer. I don't think there'll be a school season. But hey, if it starts, awesome. If it doesn't, you know what? Still in the end, if you do what you're supposed to do and you don't wait for the government, you don't wait for the other agents, you don't wait for other people, you get the pump primed. Because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. But you can be certain that you can call, speak, communicate, email, call, slide dial, call fire, which is a similar process to slide dial. It's just 2 different programs. Call fire or slide dial. Guys, you can take control of your life. You can prime the pump. And you do that by this moment. You make sure your sphere of influence is dialed in. You are there to help them, serve them, bless their life, be a contributor to their life. Okay? Now look, I want to just, actually, I got ahead of myself. I forgot one last thing as we start to wrap up here. I want to remind, people always say, well, George, what should I talk about on these calls? First and foremost, number one above all things, how can I help you? I don't, look, we are of the human family. We're there to help, bless, serve, contribute to another human being. So in a nutshell, what I want is, how can I help you? But if I want to engage in a conversation, and I'm going to then ask these things. I'm going to work, for many of you have heard this, called FORD. And FORD stands for this. Let me erase this up here. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Guys, look, you may say, well, wait, they're not doing anything to recreate. Really? My family's out playing tennis. We're out playing some basketball in the driveway. We're out going to the West Desert in Utah, past Great Salt Lake. We're recreating. We're getting away. Are they walking around the block? Are they getting outside? I don't know. But just look, how's their family? How is the job? Where are they sitting with that? How's the recreation going? How are they actually staying centered and sane? Right? What are their dreams? What do they really want to see happen in the future? That's what we do when we want to lead people. We want to know what their desires are. Their desires, their dreams, their goals, their ambitions. What are they? Look, you do this, you do even 80% of it. You do 50% of this, good things are going to happen. But look, I could cross off mailing, emailing, client appreciation, and texting. You are in the people business to communicate. Not just social media, not just digitally, virtually. This is the key here. Virtual, video, and calling. I want absolute interaction with your people. That's what great leaders do. We talk about leadership. We use it so randomly, right? I'll say lead, right? But I just want to make sure you're clear here. It's not just lead. It's about being an exceptional leader. It's about being a great leader. It's about being an amazing, positive, productive leader. That's what great leaders do. So look, this isn't just about leading, because look, Hitler led people, right? Some really bad people have led people. I want you to be an exceptional leader. I want you to be in the levels where you sit back and go, man, I absolutely did a great job here. I was an exceptional leader. Right? Think about the exceptional leaders over time. The Mother Teresas, the Gandhis, the Abraham Lincolns, the Martin Luther Kings. Man, those are some pretty high-level people. But look, in the end, I'm just here to tell you that that's what I mean by exceptional leadership. This is the time to step up in the way you communicate, the way you speak. These people are desperate to feel your compassion, your empathy. They're desperate to feel your fierceness, the fight within you, the direction, the navigation, the things you can do to help them. They are desperate to hear from you. And some of you are still walking around being a secret agent. Come on. Step forward and talk to the people that are so desperate to hear from you, who need to hear from you, who want to hear from you, who want to know it's going to be okay. And because you showed up, it's going to be okay. That's exceptional leadership. So again, you can wait for this all to be over, or you can step right into the storm and be part of the solution. Step into the storm and be part of the solution. The solution is always and always will be leadership. The solution will be those who lead out. We have never been in a greater time where I believe more innovation, creativity, and absolute commitment to change and solving problems than ever in the history of the world. Because the amount of people that are on this earth, there is going to be more creativity and innovation than ever in the history of the world. So are you going to sit on the bench and wait for that to happen? Or are you going to be part of the solutions, the creativity, the innovation to make things happen? Look, this is how you make it happen. This is how you lead. This is how you step forward, and you don't just wait for business to happen. You go make business happen. And I don't care whether you're in California or Utah, you make it happen. You set your intentions, such as I said in a daily message that'll be coming out. I set appointments daily. I am a great leader. I am unstoppable. I can do this. You got to lead yourself. That's why I put the stuff up there about hydration, rest. What are you listening to? What are you watching? Journaling. All of these things to get you right here, so you can step forward and be the leader you need to be. This is not a game. This is about playing at a place where you probably have never played before. I haven't dealt with this much tragedy, challenge, and struggle. I've never had to put a number of people on furlough. I've never had to evaluate every single thing at the level I do today. But we rewrite the strategy, we make decisions, and we execute. That's what I'm asking of you to do the same. Because that is what it means to be an exceptional leader. We lead exceptional leadership. So lead your people. If you don't have enough people, man, you make sure today you go find more people. You call, you talk, you find people that are desperate for your leadership because people are scared, they're fearful, they need your compassion, they need your empathy, they need your love, they need your presence, they need your certainty, they need your confidence. That's what great leaders do. And that's you. That is you. So don't wait for the government. Don't wait for the governors. Don't wait for people to tell you what you can do. You step forward and you lead. Will it be heavy? Yes. Will it be a burden? Yes. Will it be difficult? Yes. Will it be hard? Yes. Will it seem daunting? Yes. Will it seem like, man, how is this? You know what? Find a way. Because great leaders who are committed find a way. High levels of discipline, high levels of creativity and innovation. That's you. That's you. That's you who I'm talking to. So don't despair. Don't. You don't need to. Don't live in your fear. Don't live in the uncertainty when people are so desperate for certainty. It's better to declare yourself that you will figure this out versus, I don't know if we're going to figure this out. Feel the energy that's so different when you lead versus I hope versus I will. The words that we speak out have more impact than sometimes we ever believe. I hate things. I don't like things. I'll never. I can't. I won't. I shouldn't. I couldn't. Those are all limitations to the greatness of who you are. I know that you are a person of compassion. I know you're a person of empathy. I know you're a person of love. I know you're fierce. I know you're tenacious. I know that you can direct and navigate. I know that about you. But more importantly, do you know that about yourself? Because if you know that, and then you act in accordance with that stewardship that you have of leadership, then gang, you are going to win this game. You will conquer not only the virus, but you will conquer the plagues of your mind and your heart, your injuries, your fears, all of it. And you will live a life in the light. You will live a life in your most sacred and beautiful desires. Because this isn't just about conquering a virus that's out there to get us. This is about conquering the viruses inside our head that limit us from the greatness that lies within us. Go for it. Lead. Lead your people. These are your people. You are my people. But these are your people. So go lead them. Step forward today. Negotiate with yourself. Ask more of yourself. Channel a better response. I can do more and handle more. I am unstoppable. Go for it. When you don't feel like doing something, doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter how I feel. I do it anyways. I know you're not going to feel like calling all these people. I know that. But that doesn't matter. Because if you are going to be an exceptional leader, you do what you're supposed to do despite how you feel. That's you. So let's go for it, all right? Okay, gang. All right, have an extraordinary day. Lead like you've never led. Be prosperous. Be strong. Be healthy. And let's go for it today. So as we rock and roll with a few affirmations, let's finish strong. Stand up if you're with me. And let's get going and let's have an exceptional day and keep rocking it.